Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Always exciting to be back, ready to unpack some more insightful ideas.
You shared this really interesting article with me.
Oh, yeah.
Discover Your Best Self Continuous Improvement by Victor Luma.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, that title, it grabs you right away.
Absolutely.
Like discovering your best self, that's not just, you arrive and you're done.
Yeah, it's not a destination.
Oh, like a continuous journey.
It's a process for sure.
And that's what really intrigued me about this whole thing.
And what Lee Young does so well is he doesn't just leave it as this abstract concept.
Right.
He gives some real practical ways to actually, approach that continuous improvement.
Exactly.
Which is what we're going to do today in this deep dive.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's the mission here.
Yeah.
To kind of distill what are the things that we can all take away from this and actually apply to our own lives.
Yeah, it's about actionable insights. Not just reading something and saying, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's like, how do we actually implement this stuff?
Exactly.
So where should we start?
Well, he starts with something I think that's very, might seem simple on the surface.
Okay.
Journaling.
Interesting. Now you say simple, but it can be profound.
Absolutely. And for a lot of people, it's like, journaling, that's like teenage diaries.
Yeah, you get that a lot.
But he really frames it as like this empowering practice.
I like that. Empowering. Yeah. It's not just about, recounting your day.
Right.
It's about understanding yourself.
Yeah.
So what makes it such a powerful tool for self-discovery, you think?
I think there's something about, and I've experienced this even just looking back at old notes I've written or emails, where, you read something you wrote a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago.
You're like, wow, did I write that?
And you're like, I have a completely different perspective on that now.
You see things differently, yeah.
Journaling is like that in real time.
You're capturing your thoughts, your emotions.
Yeah.
And it becomes, as Wing suggests, this personal roadmap.
Yes.
Did he offer any specific ways to use journaling? Like focusing on gratitude, for example?
He did.
Or identifying limiting beliefs? Tracking progress?
Yeah, he had a few different approaches, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But one thing he really emphasized was this idea of, really checking in with your goals.
Oh, that's important.
Writing them down, reflecting on them, seeing how you're doing.
Yeah, so it's not just, I want this, but it's like, am I moving towards it?
Exactly. Are you adjusting?
What am I doing?
Are your goals still even relevant?
Exactly.
And then he also talked about using journaling to process challenges.
Yeah, because we all face those.
Right, because we all have stuff that comes up that doesn't feel good. And instead of just letting it sit inside and fester, writing it out can actually give you a sense of clarity.
Sometimes just getting it out of your head and onto paper can make a huge difference.
And help you even think of solutions you might not have thought of otherwise.
It can really unlock your thinking, yeah.
So it's not just writing down what happened, but it's actively using it as a tool.
I love that.
For introspection.
Yeah.
For moving forward.
So how do you actually integrate this journaling into your life?
Well, I think that's the beauty of it.
Okay.
He talks about finding a method that works for you.
Yeah, because there's no one right way.
If you're a pen and paper person, do that. If you like using an app, there's a ton of apps out there.
Whatever works for you, right.
The key is to make it this, and he uses this phrase, daily ritual.
Ah, I like that.
Where it's non-negotiable.
It's part of your routine.
Even if it's 5 minutes.
Consistency is key.
Right.
And that's how you build any habit, right?
Yeah.
You just make it part of your day.
And then he makes this really cool point about the long-term value of it.
Okay.
He says these reflections become invaluable treasures tomorrow.
I like that. It's like a gift to your future self.
It's like you're creating this time capsule of your own evolution.
Precisely.
The insights that you're having today, the lessons you're learning right now, those might have even greater significance.
As you go through life, yeah.
As you face new challenges and new decisions.
That's an investment.
Right. It's an investment in your future self.
It helps you understand yourself better.
I love that.
So journaling's a good starting point, I think.
Okay, so we got journaling as kind of this cornerstone of self-reflection.
Yeah.
Where does Lingwen take us next on this path?
Well, he goes on to talk about our connections with other people.
Okay.
And he says very clearly, the people around you profoundly shape who you become.
That rings so true.
It's unavoidable, right?
I mean, we've all experienced this where, the energy of the people you're around or their attitudes
influences you.
Rubs off on you,
It's like this unspoken influence.
Like osmosis or something.
Yeah, exactly. And Ling makes this interesting analogy to physical exercise. Okay. He says that spending time with positive, supportive people,
Yeah.
it strengthens our emotional and intellectual well-being.
Makes sense.
Kind of like lifting weights builds muscle.
Yeah. You got to work those muscles.
Exactly. And he even brings up some research, which I'm sure you're familiar with,
Yeah.
linking happiness to meaningful time with family and friends.
I mean, that Harvard study of adult development.
Oh, absolutely. A landmark study.
I mean, they've been following these people for like, what, 80 years?
It's incredible, the data they have.
And it consistently shows, I mean, without a doubt, the impact that relationships have on our health and happiness.
Yeah. It's not just about living longer, but living better.
Exactly. And so Loom says, and I love this, make these connections a priority.
It's so important.
But it's not just about, like, how many people you know.
No, it's not about quantity.
It's about the depth.
Quality over quantity, for sure.
The quality of those connections.
You need those deep, meaningful relationships.
Yes. And he encourages us to, surround ourselves with people who lift us up, who inspire us.
People who challenge us.
Yes. But what I thought was interesting is he also said, be open to new relationships.
Yeah. You never know where you'll find inspiration.
Because sometimes I think we get so focused on our existing circles.
Yeah, we get comfortable.
That we forget that, there's all these opportunities out there to learn and grow from people we haven't even met yet.
It's about expanding your horizons, really.
Yeah.
So we have these meaningful connections, but it's also about being open to new ones.
Absolutely.
So where do we go from there?
Well, then he goes into this thing that I think intellectually we all get it, but actually putting into practice can sometimes feel like another thing on my to-do list.
I know you mean.
Lifelong learning.
Yeah, it can feel overwhelming sometimes.
Right, but he reframes it.
Okay, how so?
Where it's not just about, doing it so you can get ahead in your job or whatever, but really for maintaining mental sharpness and vitality throughout life.
I like that. So it's not a chore, but a way to stay vibrant.
Yes, exactly. It's self-care for your mind.
And thankfully, there are so many resources available these days.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Online courses, podcasts.
Hey, we're one of them.
Exactly. Videos, books, articles.
So much information.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Did Leung suggest any strategies for navigating all that?
He did. He talked about intentionality.
Okay.
So rather than just kind of like passively consuming whatever comes across your feed, really think about, what are the areas that you're interested in or skills you want to develop?
Yeah.
And then seek out resources that are really aligned with that.
So be purposeful about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he also talked about the value of mentorship.
Oh, mentorship is so powerful.
Because it's one thing to, read a book or take a course.
Yeah.
But to have someone who has actually walked that path.
Right. Who's been there.
To share their experience, their insights, their wisdom.
That's invaluable.
It's invaluable, yes.
Did Leung talk about the benefits of continuous learning?
You did.
Aside from, the personal growth aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any scientific evidence to support this?
Well, yeah. I mean, he talked about how, it keeps our minds vibrant. It can potentially delay cognitive decline, contribute to brain health.
So it's not just good for your career, it's good for your brain.
Exactly.
And he puts a really positive spin on it.
Right. He does.
He doesn't make it sound like this, obligation.
No.
It's not like going back to school and cramming for exams.
It's an exciting adventure, he says.
That's a much better way to frame it.
Yeah.
It's about expanding your understanding of the world.
Yes.
I like that. Okay, so we've got self-reflection, we've got meaningful connections, we've got lifelong learning.
Right.
How does Ling connect these to our professional lives?
This is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
He talks about this idea of embracing a sponge mentality for career growth.
A sponge mentality. Now, that's a new one.
I know, right?
So what does he mean by that?
Well, think about what a sponge does.
Absorbs.
It absorbs.
Yeah.
So in the context of your career, it's about actively absorbing wisdom, insights, knowledge.
I see. From various sources.
From everywhere.
Like where?
Your colleagues, your mentors, your clients even.
Oh, interesting. Even from clients.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has something to teach us.
That's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about being open to learning from everyone.
Yes. And he shares this piece of advice, I love this, that someone gave him early in his career.
Oh, what is it?
In life, you're either growing or sinking. There's no standing still.
Wow, that's powerful.
And I think it applies to everything, but especially our careers.
Yeah, it's a constant evolution.
It's not like you arrive at a certain point and you're done.
No, you got to keep moving forward.
You're constantly evolving.
Did Ling have anything to say about what career growth really means?
He did.
Because it's not just about getting promoted, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. And he actually makes that clarification.
Okay.
It's not just about climbing the ladder or getting a bigger title.
It's about developing your skills.
It's about personal development within your professional sphere.
Becoming more adaptable, more effective.
Yeah, honing your skills, expanding your knowledge base, becoming more adaptable.
Regardless of your job title.
Exactly. It's about being more effective in whatever role you're in.
It's about being the best version of yourself professionally.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got self-reflection, connections, learning, this sponge approach to careers.
Right.
What's the final piece of the puzzle?
He ties it all together with the importance of balance.
Oh, balance. That's crucial.
Because, he talks about how when work takes over everything, even the smallest setback
It can feel huge.
It can feel catastrophic.
And it can really throw you off balance.
Yeah. Yes. And so he introduces this model. You've probably heard of it, the 8-8-8 model.
Oh, yeah, the classic time management model.
Right. 8 hours for sleep, 8 hours for work, 8 hours for everything else.
So leisure, relationships, personal time.
Exactly.
But realistically, isn't that kind of hard to achieve for most people?
You're absolutely right. And I don't think he's saying, everybody needs to divide their day into these perfect 8-hour chunks.
Okay.
It's more about the intention.
The awareness.
Yes, the awareness that you need to be consciously allocating time.
To each of those areas.
To all of these areas.
Yeah.
And he talks about, the importance of, he brings back the Harvard study, the joyful interactions with loved ones.
Absolutely. Quality time with the people you care about.
Pursuing your passions, your hobbies.
Yeah, things that light you up.
Yes, having a peaceful home environment.
It's a sanctuary.
Yes.
Taking care of yourself.
Working on your own goals.
It's about nurturing all aspects of your life.
Right. And so the idea is, when you have this well-rounded life, the stuff that inevitably comes up at work, it becomes, as he says, a minor inconvenience.
Rather than a major crisis.
Yeah, because you have this foundation.
You've got that support system.
Of well-being.
You're more resilient.
Yes.
So balance is key.
It's not just a nice to have.
It's essential.
It's just essential.
Well, that was a great discussion.
So to wrap it all up for you, we've really explored Victor Lung's insights on the power of journaling for self-awareness.
Yes.
The importance of nurturing those positive relationships.
Absolutely.
That continuous journey of lifelong learning.
That's a big one.
Embracing that sponge mentality in your career.
Be a sponge.
And finding that crucial balance in your life.
It all ties together.
It does.
And I think it leaves us with a really important question for all of you listening.
Yes.
Out of everything we've discussed, what resonates with you the most?
What feels like, okay, I can actually do that. I can start with that.
What's your first step?
Because you don't have to do everything at once.
Small steps lead to big changes.
Exactly.
So think about which area, whether it's self-reflection, those connections, your approach to learning, that sponge mindset at work, or that balance that we talked about.
Yes.
Which one feels like the biggest opportunity for you right now?
And what's that one small action you can take today?
Just one thing.
To start moving in that direction.
Because consistency is key.
Yes, it's all about those small, consistent actions over time that lead to big results.
That's how you create lasting change.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.